Hi, this is Johnny. I'm a global artist ambassador for FENIX360, and I'm blessed to be joined today by the stand-up comedian, ERICA SWITZER. Hi, Erica. How are you?
Hey, Johnny, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's great to see you, and thanks for being with me. Listen, Erica, I was hoping that we might share some of your stand-up performance that you can find on your YouTube channel. Okay, if we tune into the set from Burbank?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, terrific. Then everyone, let's watch some of the stand-up comedy from ERICA SWITZER.
All right, our next comedian coming to the stage, she is from Chicago. Everyone please put your hands together right now for ERICA SWITZER, everybody!
Ah, everybody, make some noise one more time for Kalia. Just like Ray said, I'm ERICA SWITZER, so I am a Black American woman with a German name that used to teach English to French kids in the middle of Shanghai, China. If I add one more nationality to that, I get a free venti something from Starbucks. I also have the distinction of being the first Black comedian to perform in Mongolia. You know, when I went, it was like when Shaka Khan met Genghis Khan.
Erica, really funny. I really appreciate you and the courage that it takes to perform in a live audience and stand-up comedy. I wonder whether or not you might tell me, where are you from? And I'd love to hear some highlights and how you became a comedian.
Well, I am from Chicago, and I grew up in the early 90s in Chicago. And one of my favorite childhood memories is actually when my dad picked up Robin Harris's Bebe's Kids tape.
Okay.
And I was about 8 years old at the time, but I was so fascinated at how he was just keeping the audience captivated. And I was listening so much to it. I picked up every beat, memorized it, and thought, this comedy thing is pretty cool. I bet I could write like this. But I put it off forever. I just wound up being people's funny friend. And it took my divorce and deciding to go eat, pray, love, and through China and starting stand-up comedy there, which is when everything kind of flipped for me. It's like I, went through all the schooling, got a master's degree in everything in English lit, and never decided I need to be writing comedy until
incredible.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And also, your art really poured out of what probably was some turmoil around a relationship situation, but it gave you the courage to branch out and say, this is who I am, and I'm going to go and perform and be a comedian and a writer. And that is, those skills in terms of, finding comedy to be able to capture and then to deliver it. I mean, this is true art. And timing is such an important aspect of it. And to be able to kind of articulately deliver on those things and make it work, and where audiences respond, that's really huge. So I appreciate learning about your journey and wondering now, Erica, were there other comedians that you grew up listening to or also were inspired by that helped influence your style?
I would have to say my biggest inspiration is Whoopi Goldberg. Because as a kid growing up, she was the person I could look at on the TV screen who looked the most like me. Okay. And during the 80s and watching her just rise and, be an EGOT winner by the time I was a teenager, I was like, this lady's got it. And she's all over the place. Nothing's holding her back. So I loved it.
Oh, listen, me too. And I love a big fan of Whoopi Goldberg. And not only was she so funny and also her deliveries and timing so good. She's also a wonderful dramatic actress and just a great advocate, I think, for rights. And at any rate, that personality and that art form that she exudes in a lot of different ways. What a great inspiration for you. I appreciate that as well, and her. And so thanks for that. So let me ask you the question now, Erica, what are you working on now? What's coming up on your social channels that we can expect that you're working on?
Well, I am working on a few different ideas for YouTube. I've previously done some blogs talking about living in Asia and traveling. And so I'm going to kind of toss around a few new ideas for 2022. I'm also working on revamping productions because I started doing blackout comedy and hey now comedy shows over in Shanghai. and we were the premier Black comedy group over in Asia.
Nice.
So, you know, with COVID happening and kind of knocking that momentum off, I just produced my first show in the Chicago area a couple weeks ago. And so once things kind of subside and get a little more stabilized, or not, I'll take it to virtual if need be. I'm back in the production game, so I'm very excited about that.
That's cool, Erica. Listen, it's great that you've made such a influence in the Asian market and being in a city like Shanghai and kind of sharing your vibe, you know, with different culture and different peoples to, you know, and just making people's laughter is so wonderfully infectious. And so I'm glad that they're responding so well to you. And that you know that they get you. It's really kind of a gift, you and your team, in terms of what you're bringing to those audiences and to audiences worldwide. And we're going to look forward to what you have coming up by tuning into your social media channels, Erica. So I want everyone to tune in to Erica Switzer's social media channels you find below our interview, and we'll look forward to you coming up on FENIX360. Erica, thanks so much for making us laugh.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, pleasure's mine. Thank you. You take good care.
Oh, Jesus be some spanks. How y'all doing tonight?
Okay.
I am rocking the Spanx. Y'all in the first row should be very happy for that. Because if I were not, it would be fupa all up in your face. For those of you who don't know, fat underpants area. And it's hairy fupa at that. Because Lord knows if there's anybody I've been missing during this quarantine lockdown period, it is my waxer. Ooh. Y'all like the hair?
Yes.
Woo!
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
The purple.
I know you've heard long hair don't care, short hair don't care. Well, purple hair don't care about my job prospects.